Welcome, everybody, to the Crystal Chronicles, a special episode on the road to episode 100. Today, I am joined by our founder and creator of the Crystal Chronicles, Pierre. Pierre, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me, Mark.
It's good to see you, and just like old times, this is the very first time we've done this without any problems whatsoever. So
We have not restarted this show at least
just
twice or anything.
just brings back memories of technical difficulties in ages past.
Yeah.
So first of all, Pierre, I get a lot of questions about what is going on in the life of Pierre. We're all in a little bit of an interesting situation with the COVID-19 crisis. So let us know, hey, what's been happening in the life of Pierre recently?
Well, I've been working for the last couple of months as an IT director at Laughing Dragon Studios here in Montreal. It's been quite a ride. Our studio is really growing big, and we had a lot of things to do. And just as everybody was finally getting super settled in the new infrastructure and everything was fine, COVID came around and threw everybody home. So
Yeah.
that was another fun times for me. But no, quite frankly, we're doing pretty good here. So that's where my attention has been for the last couple of months.
Yeah. Well, I thought it would be interesting as we're coming to episode 100 of this iteration of the Crystal Chronicles. Obviously, we did 50 plus episodes in the Record Keeper days, but we are coming on to our, I think, 98 this week. So by the end of April, we're going to be episode 100 of the Crystal Chronicles, Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. So there's a lot of new viewers. There's a lot of people who have joined us even since the new year, let alone everything else. So I thought it'd be fun to look back and kind of say, hey, how did this whole thing start? What was your inspiration to get it going? What were you doing in FFRK when you started it all? And how did things go? So you want to kind of walk us back through the early days of the Crystal Chronicles and your experience there?
Yeah, absolutely. But before I do that, I really want to take a second to congratulate you and the guys, for coming close to that 100 episode mark. This is incredible. I'm really glad to see you guys are keeping at it, to see that the show is growing, to see that Square has finally acknowledged your existence and all. I mean, I'm really, really happy for you guys. So yeah, I just want to congratulate you, Kreese, and what the hell? Even Mino, I guess he's got something to do with it. So,
Yeah, a little bit.
but
Yeah.
yeah, good job, guys.
Thank you.
So yeah, the Crystal Chronicle. How did that get started? So back in the Final Fantasy Record Keeper days, I had a little site called FFRK Central on which I was posting data mine information from the game. And as I was posting information, I kept, talking about it on Twitter and everything. And I felt like I really wanted to talk about it with someone and get some exchange and get conversation going because I was discovering all these things in the game and playing all the new chapters and everything. So I threw out a tweet that said something along the lines of, "Hey, I would be interested to do a podcast. Is anybody want to want to do it with me?" And some guy named eThank88, real name Ben, actually came forward and said, "Hey, you know what? I'd be interested." So it started from there, and we did probably what was the most awkward podcast episode ever recorded for our number one episode, as we learned to not talk over each other and all of these fun things. And as we started doing them more and more every week, at some point we got some fan mail from a guy that was doing some little tutorial videos on YouTube, and the guy, he had a nice little voice, nice little way of explaining things, and he felt to us like he would be a good addition to the team. And what would you know, he ended up picking it up and keeping it for himself years after. So And for those not following, I'm talking about how Mark got involved with us. So at some point, Ben dropped the cast, and it was you and me, Mark, and that lasted for, I believe, close to 60 episodes that we did. And then, as gaming is, we ended up pretty much, we weren't playing as much anymore, so it was not relevant for us to keep talking about a game that we weren't playing. So that dropped. And a couple of months after, I believe, DFFOO came out, and almost instantly, me and Mark reconnected and said, "Hey, we got to do something about this. This game is awesome. We play it all the time." And yeah, the rest is history. We restarted the podcast, decided to just call it a second season, as if I don't know if the big plan in that was that for each mobile Final Fantasy game we would throw out a season or something. I don't know what was the grand scheme of things, but yeah. So that's in a nutshell. That's exactly what happened. So it went from FFRK. Then we dropped that, and then I started data mining the FFOO. We were playing it, and yep, that's where it got. So,
Well, thank you for that retrospective. Yeah, I was, I was doing a series called FFRK Basics on YouTube.
that's the name.
And yeah, I reached out to Pierre and Ben and said, I like what you guys do. I don't even know if I asked to be on the show, but I may
We actually
have.
invited you
Oh
on,
yeah, yeah,
yes, for I believe it was episode 8, 9, or
yeah. It
10.
was early. Yeah,
And at the end of the show, I remember just asking you, "Hey, do you want to keep doing this with us?" Because we basically invited you as a guest so that you could talk about
yeah,
your uh, FFRK Basic series. That was originally the plan, and it just clicked, and you had such good things to say that, and it really it was changing the dynamic about just two people talking about something to really more of a conversation about what's going on in the game. So it felt much better to me when it started being three people. So
yeah. Certainly in the FFRK days, I don't think I was following as many other content creators as I do now, but. In the world of content creators, especially video game content creators, the majority of content creators are a single voice. And so you
right.
have, one person twitching, person doing YouTube videos, and that's pretty much all you have. You have a person, maybe they're interacting with their fans, but it's really them telling you, for a YouTube video, that's all it is. It's them telling you what they're doing, how to play, who to draw on. Those are the most popular videos, should you pull, etc. And Twitch can be a little bit more conversational, but it can also be a lot of dead silence and dead space as people are playing the game and people are watching and that kind of experience. And
Yeah,
so,
I remember doing the little Twitch experiment as I was playing,
oh,
and
yeah.
I realized as I got involved in the game, I wasn't talking to anyone,
Right.
so it probably felt very boring to watch, and I guess that's why I never became a Twitch superstar. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's usually just one person talking to the camera and trying to entertain the people all by himself.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And that's difficult in itself. To be a good Twitch streamer, a good YouTube video creator, that takes a certain set of skills. But people don't realize, and I know this because several people have tried to do something like we have done over the years, which is do a kind of a podcast format. And as you said earlier, the worst podcast in history, that first episode, I don't think it was that bad. The first episode you and Ben did, although we don't have record of it, so it's not on our site. You can only get the Defo podcasts on our website right now, so there's no
I
proof one way or the other.
do believe I still have it somewhere.
Oh, maybe you should send me that. You can share it on the Dropbox if I
Right.
still
Let me
have it
look
there.
real quick if I still have it, just for kicks.
Hmm?
Maybe not. Maybe not. It was hosted at the time on Amazon.
Oh,
So yeah, maybe I don't,
yeah.
because
Lost to
for
history.
some period we had the SoundCloud
Yeah,
account,
right.
and then that started being really troublesome. So we moved it to something I really don't know. Maybe I still have it. Maybe I don't. I would really need to look into my files. I tried looking for it last night. I actually couldn't find it, but now I'm even more intrigued about
Well, I have
what it was.
listened. I have listened. Obviously, I listened to the first episode of the Crystal Chronicles, and maybe I don't know. I don't know if you can if there's an ability to search back on the podcast app. That would be interesting. I'll figure that out later. But um, I have listened to our first episodes of the Defoe version, season 2. Although technically we're in season 3 right now because I did change the seasons when we got to the new era, the new difficulty spike. So we're still on the same episode list. So it's just one of those shows where they change the seasons but keep the episode numbers like anime, right? Um, so so it doesn't really mean anything, but so we won't do season 4, the War of the Visions mobile game because
But
we're already not super interested in that.
the reason why we did it that way, especially, is because we were reusing the same Twitch account, the same
Yeah,
everything. So we already had a fan base and all, and we wanted to make a cut because we knew that most of the people who would suddenly get an episode come out of nowhere in their feeds or stuff like that would probably not care about the FFO if they were still playing Record Keeper.
yeah.
So that's why we kind of made a cut instead of just releasing out of the blue episode 62 that suddenly speaks about something entirely different. So it made sense at the
It did.
time.
No, and I think it did make sense. And it it got other people interested in the game too. In that first episode of the second season, or episode number 1 in this counting from 1 to 100. We talked about, hey, this is what we're doing. We're playing this new game. This is how you play it. You should check it out. And we still do that from time to time. And there are still new people playing these games, and still people playing Record Keeper. I still follow people on Twitter who were fans or collaborators with us. People like Australian Derek and
I miss
John.
Derek
And
very much.
yeah, we love Derek. He's doing good too. So, yeah, if I had been really thinking, we could have gotten a whole group together. But I thought it would be nice just to have a chat with you here for a little bit. But yeah, people don't realize how hard that is to do that podcast format, as difficult as it is to sit in your room and play a video game and talk to the Twitch chat and be good at that. It's really difficult to be. I mean, we can see each other right now, but if people don't realize, Mino and Kreese don't have cameras, so I don't see them. They can see me, but I don't see them. And it's really hard, even if you can see each other on video, because I mean, Pierre knows this from producing the show for so long. I do that now. You're paying attention to OBS. I'm paying attention to the Twitch chat. I'm paying attention to what Kreese and Mino are messaging me in Discord, off microphone, or what some of our moderators are messaging me in Discord. I'm paying attention to the stream health and all of those, the sound levels and all of that kind of stuff. And so, let alone, and I'm trying to talk about the game at the same time.
Yep.
And so you're doing all of that, but at the same time, you don't have that face to face where you can say, oh, this person is kind of giving me this cue. This person's giving me this cue. It's hard enough. Like if you're in a room doing a radio show together, it's even harder when you can't see the people. So doing it kind of, Pierre's in Canada, I'm in the United States, even, Kreese and I, Kreese is in Louisiana, Mino's in LA. You get people like Quetz and Mac, who are across the ocean. It's amazing, but it's really difficult. And a lot of people have tried to do it and have not done very well because of that. And so, I mean, I think even though you feel like those first episodes were really tough, to be able to continue it and to be able to do it well, and I think we got a groove after a while. Really,
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
It's hard.
The more we did them, the more we adapted to each other, and the more it was easier to, we knew probably when the other person would jump in.
Yeah.
And but I gotta tell you, you're absolutely right on that. Just having the camera and seeing the other person, you get more of a feel about, oh, I think he's going to say something. Oh, you just made a funny face. Why do you disagree with it? So it is something that I thought was really helping, but at the same time, it's not everybody's cup of tea. So I definitely understood and respected that out of Ben, out of Mino, and out of everybody else. So
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it just it takes some time to build that chemistry. We had 4 people on the show last
you're
week.
laggy.
Oh, I'm lagging here a little bit, so we'll catch up to it. But we had 4 people on the show last week: myself, Mino, Crease, and Ink. And I was surprised because we go through for the podcast, and it's a little aggressive with the fruit snacks there, buddy. We went through and there was almost no silence. We go through running through kind of a silence finder, and if there's anything that's over a couple of seconds of silence, we edit that out. But there was almost no silence, and to have that kind of ability to work with each other and kind of pick up on those cues, even though you can't see them, really, really difficult. And so, yeah, I mean, you can imagine that this is a lot harder than you might think. So, yeah.
And
so a lot of
there's
props.
always a chance of having a kid walk in the room as you're doing all of this, or a cat that jumps, and so.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of cat related situations over the years, and dog related situations, and a couple kid related. So my kids are actually at the table with me right now eating their lunch. So I don't know if you could hear the overwhelming sound of opening fruit snacks, but it was a little rough. But this is the professionalism that we bring to the to the World Wide Web. So. But yeah, so as maybe focusing a little bit more on the Crystal Chronicles Season 2 Default experience, what were some of your highlights or some of your fond memories from the game? Some maybe things from the podcast that you were involved in here that kind of come to mind, or things that made you keep doing it. I mean, you were with us for over 50 episodes this time around too, I believe. So
Yeah, I think it was pretty close to that. Quite frankly, it was always, I was always looking to that moment where I know it's silly, but I was always super looking forward to that moment where we would play the team and I would just shout out, at the right moment, live from the internet, this is the Crystal Chronicles, and all of that. And it always like put me in the mood right away as we said that with the team music and all. And that I was looking forward to that moment and talk to you guys. And it was always that very special moment. In terms of the game, I guess it was fun for the first couple of months. I mean, I re-downloaded FFRK and DFFO last night. I gotta tell you, I have no idea where to go. I mean, especially DFFO, there's a whole bunch of new materials and new GIF, and I was just lost in it. So it was just fun while it was simple, I guess. Then it got like super more complicated, and that's where I kind of gave up on it a little bit. But and DFFO had such a nice story to it. It was so fun to go through the chapters and follow Mog around, and not have to deal with that jerk of Dr. Mog.
Dr. Mog.
He's still a jerk, by the way.
He's still a jerk. Yeah, he is 100% still a jerk. So in the FFRK,
yeah, that's an FFRK. Whereas I guess this is not spoiler anymore because it's been like a couple of chapters now, probably. Yeah. But the part where Mog like kind of almost died, and then you had to rescue him and everything, and he's such a fuzzy nice guy. So yeah. Up until then, it was a fun game, and then it just, for me anyway, started like really repeating, and it was just like grinding, and that's where I started to lose interest. And as you do a podcast, for me anyway, one of the things I realized is after a couple of episodes, I felt that the only thing I was doing was reading the outline and just throwing you and Mino lines. Oh, well, so Mino, what do you think about this new weapon? And Mark, what do you? And I realized, I wasn't giving anything of value at all in the podcast besides just like being that third wheel. So that's when I realized that, when you realize you have nothing of value to bring, to the content, then it's the moment you need to step out, and that's what happened. And I couldn't be any happier and proud of you guys for still going at it and still going strong and hitting that 100 number in a couple of weeks. And I will be listening to that episode. I can tell you, I'm not listening to all of them, depending on the work schedule, but I will definitely be listening to the 100 episode. Probably be hanging around on Twitch as well. So.
Yeah, you could win yourself a gift card, perhaps. So,
hey, maybe, sure, why not?
You're eligible for entry, I suppose. No, but
most of these contests are everybody from Canada and United States are eligible, except residents of Quebec, because we have a messed up regulation here for contests and stuff. And usually companies, instead of going through the hoops, what they do is they just say, you know what, it's everybody with Quebec. So, bang.
Yeah. Well, I think you bring up a great point. You started this, you started FFRK Central because you wanted to dig deeper into the game. I started FFRK Basics because I had some friends playing the game. And, when you started Defo, and even when we started FFRK, it was pretty simple. Now, I've played games since then. I'm playing 2 or 3 games that are super, super complicated, even from the get-go. So that's kind of a thing now that there's mobile games that are coming out. Say hi to Pierre. Hi. He can't hear you. But, yeah, go eat your lunch. Thank you. But we did the podcast because we enjoy talking about the game. It gave us a good opportunity. It's basically friends catching up on, hey, this is what we're doing, and then we realize there's other people that want to listen to it too, oddly enough. And so they're listening and saying, oh, well, what are they doing? And it feels like, when you listen to a podcast, it feels like you're in the living room with your friends talking about something you're interested in. I listen to a bunch of podcasts, not right now because I'm not going anywhere. There's not a lot of commutes.
That's the worst thing about it, isn't it?
Yeah. I haven't even listened to all of ours recently. I've tried to catch 1 or 2 here and there, but usually I listen to all of them.
You kept saying that back in the times, and I don't know how you do it. I would try to do it, and my own voice would drive me batch crazy within minutes, and I had to flick it off. Like just editing the episode, be as much as I could take of my own voice. But
I love hearing myself talk, so that's not a problem. I'm exceptionally vain. I can listen to myself all day long. No, as a professional speaker, I like to listen to myself and see, okay, how many times am I saying what was going on? Was I didn't have enough coffee, or what was I less prepared? What I just did it there. So what was the issue? Was I too tired? I was super tired at the end of last week's episode. I know that. But you kind of see yourself and kind of learn from yourself. But yeah, at the end of the day, go ahead. Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's that I was catching all of my flaws, like when I go. It's that sound that would like just. And it's all those little quirks that the more you do, the more you try to avoid them. But see, that's what I just did, because there's somebody there that's taking my attention. Your little boy behind you, but more seriously, it's all those little twerks that would constantly hear, or that are my legendary pronunciations on a whole bunch of words. And it would drive me crazy. But going back maybe a step, I just realized when I started this, my original goal was to have something similar to one of my podcast heroes, my friend Scott Johnson, who does probably like 27 podcasts or something. But he does one called The Instance that used to be strictly about World of Warcraft, but it's now about, pretty much all the Blizzard games.
Oh.
And he does it with two people. There's one, a French guy called Patrick Beja, and the other one whose name I'm missing out on. But it's that dynamic of three people talking about a game and bringing on, okay, well, this is what came in this week. And that was the concept that I wanted to bring to this. So, and the podcast is so good. They're linked together so good that I would, I haven't played World of Warcraft since, seriously, probably since like Cataclysm, but I would still listen to the podcast years and years after. It was part of my routine when I came back Sunday night from hockey, back when the apocalypse hadn't hit our lives. So thinking about it, the fact that when you have a product that's so good that people who are no longer playing the game would still find it enjoyable to listen to, that was what I was hoping to put in place. So that was the original goal of this whole podcasting thing.
Yeah, and it's never been, and we've never made really any money.
Oh, geez, no.
So it's never been about that. It is, and it's such a. I mean, we knew it's such a niche. Somebody was asking, because our numbers have been pretty good. Somebody was asking about, becoming a Twitch partner. And so to become a Twitch partner, you need certain number of things, a certain number of followers and subscribers, and you need to have a certain number of average viewers, and it's 75 to even qualify for a partner. And we have that. We get over 75 people on average live with us every podcast. Over
when we had like five, and super excited because it was the same five people. It was
just like two guys.
Yeah, there was Australian Derek. There was, I can't remember the names, but like it was always the same people. And the same thing with DFO. It's the same. Like we had Dropman. We had originally we had Mino that would come in, and he would be such a pest that we figured, well, if we don't get him on the air, he's just going to keep on spamming the chat. So we had to take one for the fans and, remove him from the chat and just have him with us. And he turned out to be half decent. So it was a fair trade for everyone. But seriously speaking, I have no idea where I was going with this. It was probably super legendary in terms of
no, but we started out and it was just the recording, it was just us, and then we did start streaming here, especially in the Defo era. We streamed from day one, and those early streams were a couple people, and now we're a couple hundred people on with us over the course of a couple hours, not to mention the views on YouTube and the hundreds of downloads on the podcast.
But it changed the dynamic. It went from being a little bit of I don't want to say boring, because I don't want to like diss our own work, but it became something about like just three guys around the table talking about something, to more engagement, because as we would talk, we would either get corrected or get more information from people, and it would sometimes shape the conversation in a way we hadn't really planned. And it's as soon as we started doing this on Twitch, and even with our like 5 viewers, it got really exciting, because we're all humans. We all want to be the star of something, and with the Twitch, with the people viewing, with them, getting connecting a couple of minutes before the show and engaging with them, we were the stars of, and you guys still are the stars of our own little thing, our own little fandom, and the engagement. It really shaped the dynamic of the show in a way that I believe, without doing it on Twitch, I don't think would have lasted. The first season, I don't think would have lasted that long. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm fairly sure right now that engagement is what's fueling, along with the game and the the love for the game is fueling to keep going at it.
Well, it's the same for me for professionally for preaching. Normally when I preach, I'm in front of a group of people, and there's an energy there that is helpful. And so it's the same way when you're streaming. It's a lot easier to it's a lot more dynamic to even if we're not really interacting with the Twitch chat. It's a lot more dynamic to have people with us and know that there's people with us and engaging with those people and reading what they're saying, as opposed to just recording something on our own and doing a YouTube video. And I've done some YouTube videos since, and I'm doing YouTube videos every day now for work because that's just a way I can stay connected with people. But and that's fine. But right, there's no real energy, and you kind of have to feed off of the comments or the views, and that's not real healthy either. But to have those people there and interact with them is so much better, and that's what makes this. I mean, I think you're getting at, it's not you or me or Mino or Kreese or all of our great team. I mean, it's not just us anymore. We've got, Macnol and Quetz and Ink and the whole Tonberry troop and Erolai and J.A and Strafe and I mean Dreamy and we got so many people who are Jin Lee, Hate 13 who did our narration for us, and not that, just all of our supporters and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, we just have this huge group now, and that makes it so much easier to do. Let alone does it lessen the workload for all of us. But my kids are weird. They're just doing weird things. but yeah, no, I mean that engagement. So we're talking to each other and we're working with each other and we're trying to find things. So yeah. Hey, so do you remember our failed attempt to get Square Enix Final Fantasy Ifrit and Shiva wine?
I absolutely remember that. We tried really hard, and I think it was with Josh or I don't know who, but someone actually from Square tried to help us with it, but it didn't go anywhere. Did you get some?
No. So we never were able to get the official Squex wine. We did in fact make our own, and I will say as a caveat, Squex Joshua is with us almost every week and interacts with us quite a bit, and so we appreciate him as a community manager. But what we did, I don't know if you were ever able to see this. What we did do is we do have TCC.
Oh, wow.
TCC merch. So
that's pretty cool.
That doesn't make me any money or anybody any money, but it costs money. But a local friend who has a shop did that for us, and so some people were able to
Didn't I
get
see
that.
Now that you show me this, didn't I see a picture on Facebook with your daughter?
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
a shirt like that.
Yeah, all my kids all have TCC shirts. Yeah, from the the Jin Lee logo. Jin did that logo for us. So, and
good job.
Yeah, he it is wonderful because, as you know, I am my technical prowess, as again shown today, is not real high. It doesn't help that I just realized my computer. So I run all of this. People don't know. I run all of this off of my laptop, my Sony laptop. It is a Vio E series, in case you're wondering. It is over 8 years old.
Oh wow!
I've never had a computer. And I've had computers since I was 14, maybe. I've had my own computer. I've had computers since I was born for 40 years. But I've had my own personal computer since I was about 14. And I don't think I've ever owned a computer for longer than about 4 years. That's 4 years has been the turnover. So, yeah, I just realized the other day that this laptop is from 2012. And, we've moved several times. And so, you don't think about things and it still runs. But yeah, as I'm trying to do video processing with DaVinci and things like that, it's just, I just can't do it. And so I think that's,
it's not liking it at all.
Yeah, I think that's I'm going to use my fat stimulus check from the U.S. government to help buy a new computer. So unless I can get my new
buy American,
my new place of employment. I'm going to buy Japanese. I don't know. I got to figure out what I want. That's the big problem. Is not where the money comes from. It's what I actually want. What can do what I need it to do. So, but yeah. So I don't even know what we were talking about at this point. Uh, but yeah, there's just so much, and I give a lot of people credit, especially people who are a lot younger than us, who are doing this and making it professionally, and able putting in long hours. That's what I was getting back to with the Twitch partnering. For us to become Twitch partners, we got the audience and we got the fans, which is wonderful. But you're talking 25 hours, a month, I think.
And you have to do it on 4 different days. Like
Yeah,
you can't do it like on all Wednesdays. You have
yeah,
to stream on different days. Now I remember the list, and we had actually back when I was there, we had a couple of those criterias,
yeah.
just not all of them because we were a weekly show. So what was the point? One of us sometimes, I remember Mino would do some streams now and then, some playing streams, but even then
Yeah.
it was a lot of content to generate, even for us three,
Yeah.
to try and reach that point.
Yeah, so for those of you who aren't familiar with how Twitch works, to become a partner, which is where you could make potentially decent money, you have to stream for 25 hours over 12 days a month. This is every month. So that's it's a lot, especially for people like us who have full-time jobs.
And
Somebody's
family.
yeah, and family. Somebody said the other day, like, "Oh, I wish you guys did this, or somebody should do this." And like, yeah, let me find that in my extensive free time. And that's why it is so wonderful that people do step up and say, "Hey, I can do this. I can, I'm good with graphics. I can do some graphics," or "Hey, I can do a voice narration," or "Hey, I can give you $40 for a giveaway." So, Min Yen, one of our followers, gave us $40 for a couple of giveaways for episode 100. So, when we have a little bit more in the bank that we can use for that kind of stuff, and so that's what that's fun to do, and sometimes Squex give us free stuff too, so that's nice. But they did, early on, to be fair to them, early on they did give us those codes for those Clouds NT Buster Swords.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
that's correct.
that was very early. They were hyping the game, and they did give us those codes, and that was a lot of fun. So I appreciate that. So off of Defo, what games are you playing? Since this is a gaming podcast, are you playing any games? What systems do you have, or that kind of stuff, or are you just too busy with the work right now?
What do I play? Jeez, I've been, I played another Eden for a couple of months.
Yep.
I got really into that, and as with everything else, it kind of started being really grindy, and it took its toll on me. Right now, I'm playing on the Switch. I played some Civilization 6, then I got tired of that. Right now, I'm playing an indie game that's called Chasm. That's really awesome. I highly recommend it. Other than that, I got an Oculus Quest.
Oh yes,
So
I saw that. Yeah.
I'm playing a game that's called Super Hot. That's really good. Beat Laser,
Yes.
Beat
Yeah.
Saber, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fun.
I tried the Star
Star
Wars
Wars Immortal.
game thingy. I finished it, in about half an hour.
That's quick. Yeah.
So it didn't feel right for the money.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, right now I'm playing some Diablo 3 every
Oh,
now and then.
nice.
Oldie but goodie.
Yeah.
Um, for some reason, I'm trying not to get too much into gaming because whenever real life comes back, I don't want to be like invested in something raiding 3 nights a week, and so I'm trying to contain myself because when I get into something, like I really get into something really, really too much. So, but yeah, right now I'm just pretty much spending my time either on the Switch or the Oculus.
Yeah. So you, talking about getting back into things, I did tell you earlier, but just to confirm, there is a character that you have a particular affinity for coming. Today is Monday. We're recording this on a Monday, the Monday after Easter. I believe on Wednesday night, our time, General Leo is coming to
On a
Dissidia.
chapter or
It is on a chapter, yes. And you can play the. You don't have to unlock all the chapters now. I think you can go right to Arc 2 and start from there. But yes, so on the current chapter, which I think is Arc 2, Chapter 8, General Leo, Galoff, and somebody else is on that banner. It doesn't matter, but General Leo is coming to Defoe. Any chance you're going to jump on and play a couple chapters and try to pull for General Leo's EX weapon?
Well, that's the funny thing because for those who remembers, it was whenever we would ask each other, so what character do you want them to add, and whether it was in FFRK or DFO, my inside joke was always the same. It was I wanted to have General Leo, and then Square added him on FFRK. And what do you know? Now he's coming. I knew he had been at it in Japan. I would be very curious to listen to that episode where we were, making our own characters who would
Yes.
their abilities and see how close or far I was with the abilities that they've given him. But yeah, I will. If you say that I don't have to do like 20 chapters of grind just to go and get him, I might actually give it a shot just for kicks because yeah, I'm a General Leo guy.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that episode. I'm not even sure what episode that would have been.
I think I find it real quick because we had written about these things in the outline. Let me General Leo and outlines. Okay, so so it's not this one. It's not this one. I can't find it. All right, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'll go back and look, and maybe I'll clip. I could. That would be something fun. Maybe I'll clip that, and we can play that on the show and see. Because I know, I mean, we know already from the Japanese version of the game what General Leo does. He is a melee unit, and he is a melee unit that makes other melee units better. That's his big thing. Plus, he has some delays. But yeah, so he is actually very, very powerful. If
I want to hear.
If we didn't get a global first called Aranea Highwind, who does a lot of what he does and does it really, really well, he would probably be one of the most hyped characters in the game right now. He's already pretty hyped because he was super hyped in Japan and dominated that for quite some time. So yeah, not only is he coming, he's coming with a vengeance, coming back from the dead. Spoilers, and making a big impact.
I'm looking on the CD database right now, and it says it is one of his EX attack is shock. So I guess it's the same thing where he goes with his sword like that and makes it. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but that would be my guess. So yeah, I'll absolutely totally give it a shot because he's the real hero that we didn't deserve, so that he got killed in Final Fantasy VI. Spoilers.
Yeah, I'll put spoiler tags on this for Final Fantasy. It's Final Fantasy VII remake time, so I don't think anybody's going to be worried about Final Fantasy VI spoilers anytime
I want to
soon.
play that so bad.
It's pretty fun. So, although with young people in your house, it's hard to find that time to dive into those.
And all your
things.
Extensive free time.
Yes. Well, that's the other issue too. So. But hey, Pierre, thank you. I appreciate this. I know our fans will appreciate that. There's a lot of people always asking, how's Pierre doing? What's going on with him? So stay in touch.
Absolutely.
Please let us know what you're doing, and I do keep up with you on Twitter and Facebook, so I do know what's going on in your existence. But I want to thank everybody for listening to this or watching this on YouTube. Sorry we didn't get the Twitch working for this, but that's okay.
We tried really hard.
We did try really hard. Something with multiple cameras and me don't work, and it just may be my setup. So hey, anybody wants to donate a new computer? I'm joking. Don't do that. That's too much. That's too much.
Again, congratulations to the team for the big 100, and I will definitely be on the stream on Twitch when you guys record this. I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to exchange with all of the other DFO players live on that evening.
And we will be doing some giveaways, so make sure to be live with us on episode 100 or listen to episode 100, and we'll give you the details. We want to make sure that not only the people on stream, but the people who watch on YouTube and the people who are listening to us can all take part in that giveaway. And we'll be giving away 4 to 6, if not more, ingot packs, so about $20 here in the United States. So check it out. So thank you, Pierre. I'm Mark, and this has been a special episode of the Crystal Chronicles Road to episode 100. Until next time, the best of luck, and we'll all see you later.